You are now entering the Movies from A to B podcast, a show where two guys talk two movies and have too much fun.
Really? That's what you want to go with?
Yeah, that does sound stupid, but this podcast is anything but. We watch one notable A movie,
and then one lesser-known B movie,
and then share our thoughts. Be warned, this show includes numerous spoilers, so we highly recommend watching both movies beforehand. Listener discretion advised. We use adult language.
We say fuck.
So thanks for listening and enjoy the show. Today on the MFAB podcast, for the A side, we have 2001's The Italian Job.
And for the B side, we have 1993's Cannibal the Musical.
So crack open a Pepsi Blue
and have a spadoinkle episode.
All right, welcome back to another fabulous edition of the Movies from A to B podcast, otherwise known as the MFAB podcast. I'm Aaron.
And I'm Gavin.
And thanks for joining us today. A little bit of a lowdown on what we'll be talking about today. First off, we have 2003's The Italian Job, directed by F. Gary Gray, starring Mark Wahlberg, Edward Norton, Charlize Theron, and Donald Sutherland.
And Seth Green.
Yeah, and Seth Green.
And Mos Def.
And
many others.
Jason Statham.
Yeah, Jason. Can't forget.
A bunch of other actors who got paid. Whatever.
Yeah. And on the second half of the podcast, we're going to be talking about the movie Cannibal the Musical, written and directed by Matt Stone and Trey Parker. I'm not sure what the year, but we'll get to that in the second half.
It was made in 93, but it was not released until 96.
Yeah, it was their first film ever made.
Yeah.
Distributed through Troma Pictures.
Which, now I've seen all the movies they've done, so this was good.
Matt Stone, Trey Parker.
Yeah, Matt Stone, Trey Parker. So.
It's good to finish out collections.
Yeah, but we'll get to that one.
That'll be on the second half, yeah.
So, The Italian Job.
So, yeah.
Yeah, this was a remake of a 1969 movie starring Michael Caine about a prison heist. Well, not a prison heist. Heist in Torino, Italy, where he just gotten out of prison, found out he had to do a job to steal a bunch of gold. So this is kind of a remake, sort of the same story.
So we'll start off with, the movie.
Yeah, the movie. That's what we're here for. Movie opens in Venice, Italy, with Donald Sutherland's character John giving a call to his daughter,
John Bridger,
Charlize Theron, Stella, just basically telling her, "Hey, how's it going? Totally jumped my parole."
Yeah, breaking a whole bunch of laws and not doing what I should be doing. That's pretty much what he's getting at.
Yeah, it wakes her up basically to tell her this.
Yeah. Middle of the night, just wakes her up to be a shit stick and tell her that he's probably going to end up going back to jail if he doesn't.
But he's bought her a present. So
but he has her a present.
Oh, good.
He's mailing it to her.
Yeah, he's mailing it to her. Can't deliver it himself.
Yeah. Another way of determining where he is. Just find out where the postmark is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we also learned that Mark Wahlberg's character, Charlie, is going to be taking over from John. He's retiring from the thievery business, if that's a word.
Thievery?
Thievery? Yeah, it's a word, okay?
No, it's a word. No,
Yeah,
that's definitely a word.
But before he goes, John's got to do one big heist.
One last job.
And this involves stealing a shitload of gold.
So at this time, we see a real young Marky Mark.
Yeah, he's super young.
This
is like straight out of the Funky
for this.
Bunch, Marky Mark. Man. He's like, almost unrecognizable.
So we see a small kind of assembling of the crew getting together.
Yeah, the crew is involving, the basic team members.
Yeah, all of
Seth Green's character.
Who instantly, in the beginning of the movie, just throws off the vibe of fucking nerd.
Yeah. Well, that's what he is.
Well, yeah, but he's laying in that kind of thing.
Can't he play anything else other than a nerd?
No.
As well as Jason Statham's character, the badass chick magnet. So.
Wheelman, of course.
Yeah, that's, the perfect placements for these guys. And Mos Def is there too, along with Edward Norton's character at this time. So they have a setup to break this safe of gold out of some guy's house. We never find out who they're stealing it from.
Yeah, they never really got too deep into it during this first heist.
They basically blow his house, a hole in his house, steal the gold.
Which one part I really did love about this scene was the painting of the explosives, where they're painting on the explosives onto the ceiling.
It out, and shit. Yeah, that was pretty neat.
I've never seen. Well, I haven't seen too many heist films, I guess, but that's a new one that I really liked.
Yeah, it basically lasered out where to place the charges, and it was like super perfect thanks to Seth Green's sick computer skills.
But then Mos Def's are
Most Def explosive. Yeah, he's the explosive expert. Yeah. He went by the name Left Ear because he blew a cherry bomb in a toilet when he was a kid, and
yeah, we get to that later. The whole description of all of them.
But yeah, the gold falls through this house. They steal it. It's a shitload of gold.
Boat takes off, which was awesome.
Yeah, and there's a huge, awesome chase scene through the canals of Venice, which, if you know the canals of Venice, it's supposed to be calm and peaceful. Well, now Jason Statham's driving through them, so
he's a badass behind any wheel.
Yeah. So that was pretty badass.
Well, one thing that was hilarious, they apparently couldn't find a produce cart to crash through, so they crash a boat into a produce-carrying boat.
They crashed through a gondola, yeah.
They could not break the stereotype of crashing into.
I guess I missed that, but yeah. Now you say that, I remember that. So yeah, but the boat chase turns out was decoy. They don't have the gold. Charlie and John were hiding underwater with the gold, and they get off home free, easy peasy.
Yeah, steal all the gold. Good time.
Steal all the gold. And it's literally like, I can't say I'm off. This is a shitload of gold. Like, what'd they say? It was about like $35 million worth of gold.
$$35 million worth of gold.
After this, they're like taking their bus through the Alps, right?
Yeah, there was a really nice transition between.
Yeah, I loved the song choice there. Did you catch the song? It was a cover.
Yeah, and that's what I even have that. I talk about that later on.
It's a cover of Pink Floyd's Money, and if you don't know the original song, which is epic in its own right, this cover was really cool.
It was kind of unnerving to me.
I loved it.
It didn't sound right to me.
I thought it was good. It was perfect song choice there.
I could be just being a purist douchebag, but
I don't know. It was a perfect song choice there for the.
Perfect song choice. Maybe not
in my mind, I think. So yeah, they're driving through the Alps. Or I'm thinking it's the Alps since they're
looks like the Alps.
It looks like the Alps.
Mountains.
Basically celebrating their score, and roadblock. 2 trucks come up and stop them, and this is where shit hits the fan. Steve double crosses them.
Steve turns out to be a D-bag.
Yeah.
What a fucking surprise.
Edward Norton, perfect bad guy in the movies.
Yeah.
He says, "Yo, I'm taking all the gold. Fuck you guys." Shoots John.
Yeah, point blank. Just blast him in the chest. Truck ends up going over the bridge. They fall into the water, and Steve unloads like, I don't know, 6-7 clips.
6 clips into the water, and somehow they dodge them all.
Yeah, they're sitting inside the van.
Small. These are AK-47 clips. These are nice size clips. So somehow there's 5 people in the water. Somehow all 5 of them dodge them.
Yeah.
Not one gets hit.
But they do float John's body to the top.
They like John, so they think that everything's cool, and basically Steve gets away with all their gold. Mm-hmm. And they're stuck in the middle of the Alps, basically. Yeah.
See them coming out of the water, which I had to question. How do they not all have hypothermia at this point?
Dude, they had on those sick leather jackets. Italian leather, man, it's fucking warm.
Well, if you can survive in fucking Arctic weather.
It keeps you warm.
Oh, okay.
None of them had their ears covered either. It's because of that Italian leather, dude. I'm telling you.
Creates a force field around the entire body.
Yeah. Sad scene. They have to just kind of leave John there and get back to the States. And this is where we get reintroduced to Stella's character.
Yeah, 1 year later, Baby Sutherland has crack safes too.
Yeah, she cracks safes for police, it looked like. Or she has her own safe cracking business. And we come into her on a scene where she's cracking a safe for a crime scene, and then she kind of books it out of there, hops into her little Mini Cooper, which you'll come to learn that this is a staple of this movie, the Mini Cooper.
Oh, God.
But this is in Philadelphia. And she's just roaring through the fucking streets.
Yeah, like driving in the wrong lane, cutting people off, really being a bitch.
How the hell does she get away with all this?
I don't know. You're a safecracker.
Nobody notices this. Like, Philly's a big city. Somebody didn't call that in. Somebody didn't say, hey, there's this red Mini Cooper that's just
driving like a
bird bat out of hell. Yeah. So, yeah. She gets back to the office, and who's waiting there for her?
Marky Mark,
Charlie. She's like, I don't want to see you. Get out of here. And he's like, yo, we found Steve.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, okay, well, they found him in Los Angeles. Took them a year to figure out he went to the largest city in the States. Like, you wouldn't want to start looking there. Where would you go? You'd think you would. You'd think he'd either go, hey, to Los Angeles or New York. 2 places you could move gold. Took them a year to figure this out.
Yeah.
With all Seth Green's hacking skills took them a year. I kind of find that a little crappy, but
Yeah. So, Marky kind of describes his plan of how they want to rob Steve of his gold, and they want
to get the gold back.
and they want Stella in on it because
It's redemption for her father.
yeah, which I don't understand. Why would you just steal his gold? Why not just kill the bastard?
Yeah.
You know where he lives. You know his alter ego. Just fucking find him and kill him.
That's true.
That's what I would have done. Just saying.
Good point. Somewhere along the line, when they meet up under the bridge, and they get introduced to all the characters.
Yeah, we do.
Learn their backstories. Jason's
the real crew assembles.
Yeah.
That's what I
Seth
call
Green can't drive a motorcycle. He shows up, and you kind of learn his backstory about how apparently he created Napster.
Yes. Yeah.
But Sean,
which comes into play later too.
Yeah, Sean Flanagan stole it from him because he was napping.
That's why he called it Napster.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
And Jason Statham's a badass wheelman.
Most Def is a bomb guy, and Marky Mark is a mastermind, which I'm not used to seeing.
Yeah, Marky Mark, the guy who dropped out of high school, a criminal mastermind. Who would have thought? Yeah.
Never would have thought.
But yeah, then they start planning the heist. It's a little bit tougher than they think.
Oh, they start going over all the different plans
before they finally settle on one that they're gonna just break into his house and figure out he has a safe in there. Let's steal the safe. Stella can crack it.
Because it's a specific kind of safe that only special safe crackers know.
So, but yeah, they come into they meet her at a hotel room, and she's practicing on a safe.
In her underwear?
In her underwear, yeah. But did you notice the old school iPod on there? Really dated this movie.
No, I didn't.
The first generation iPod she's listening to.
Jesus.
I noticed that right off the bat. But they're going through planning all this heist. This
starts like a good 5 to 10 minute scene of setting up the problems of their heist.
Yeah.
The shitty traffic, the bomb guy hates dogs, so he's not going to do this. Fucking.
Yeah.
Seems to be issue after issue stacking up for the next 5 to 10 minutes.
Yeah. And then they finally get something underway, and they're like, well, he's got cable.
That's our ticket in. It's fucking Cable, of course.
Yeah. So they get Statham to seduce this blonde bimbo of a Cable installer.
Which was a great scene. I laughed a lot at this.
Seth Green gives basically the commentary between their exchange, and it's just hilarious. But yeah, he basically gets her badge and her number and just kind of gives it to Stella so she can go to Steve's house and kind of get a lay of the house.
Yeah, get the
figure out where the safe is, and yeah. While she's there, they realize that what has Steve gotten with his gold? Everything everybody else was going to get gold.
He bought the stereo, the fucking nerd one. And he bought the car, the wheelman one.
Rob's car, yeah. He couldn't think of anything to buy with, so he bought everybody's else. They figure out the lay of the apartment. Stella gets out of there, but not before agreeing to a date with him.
Oh, yeah, speaking of dates, right before that, when before Stella goes in, that's when they start the really thick laying on of Marky Mark flirting with her.
Yeah.
Real hard.
Yeah, something's going to happen there.
It's like, they're going to fuck at this point. There's no way they're not going to fuck.
So they get all the information they need, what they're going to do, and they go start planning it, which apparently they just have an airplane hangar somewhere.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
They have an airplane hangar.
They have this huge hangar in the middle of nowhere where they just plan heists. So
I mean, every criminal group has, a giant heist building, apparently.
This is where the Mini Coopers really come into play.
Oh, this is also where Seth Green demands that he is called Napster.
Yeah, he doesn't want to be called Lyle anymore. He wants to be called the Napster.
Just the worst possible fucking nickname, if you ask me.
Yeah, they figure out the hallways are just wide enough for a Mini Cooper to fit in there. So they're like, okay, let's get 3 Mini Coopers and just soup the shit out of them.
Yeah. So then we have a good, montage or a Mini Cooper jerk-off session.
Practice driving, which, by the way, I've never wanted a Mini Cooper any more than after watching this movie.
I have never wanted a Mini Cooper, even after watching that horrible commercial for Mini Coopers.
They made them look so cool, and this movie came out when I was 13.
They're boxy little cars.
They're so fucking cool after watching this movie, though, man. They go anywhere. In hallways,
6 feet or under, or below. Yeah.
But okay, so they're doing this montage, and this is where we see how Steve's been getting rid of the gold. He's been taking it to a pawn shop where this Russian guy is working.
Yeah, he's been selling them his gold. Yeah.
And the Russian guy just can't keep his mouth shut.
Finally figures out where the stamps on the gold comes from, yeah. So, of course, Steve, being the person he is, shoots the shit out of a pawn shop owner. And then we got a mystery man that comes in right after that.
Yeah. At the time, he's a mystery.
Yeah, at this point, he's mystery man.
At this point, then it's, all right, heist is ready to go.
Yeah.
We're going to...
Time to do this.
Steve's going to go on his date with Stella. We're going to break into the house and get his gold.
Steal the fucking gold and be gone.
Steve leaves in Rob's car, obviously.
Yeah.
And, all right, team, let's go. No, we're not going to go because the neighbors are throwing a huge party.
Yeah, we can't blow up gates with people everywhere, right?
Nope. So then we go to Stella's date.
Oh.
And that's where Steve figures out who she really is.
Yeah, because she uses the same quote that her dad used all the time.
You remember it? Because it's kind of stupid.
Yeah, what is it? Trust
everyone. I just don't trust the devil inside them. Classic. But once Steve figures this out, he grabs her hand and she's freaking out. Here comes the cavalry.
Everybody shows
up. They exchange words.
And one fist.
Charlie jacks Steve in the face, which it's been coming.
Yeah, it was kind of satisfying to watch.
So obviously they know Steve's gonna try and he knows what they're there for. He wants their gold. They need a new way to get this gold.
Yeah, so they got to come up with a whole new plan.
A whole new plan in about what? A day or so?
Yeah, a day. Which obviously the mastermind Marky Mark comes up with a plan using the same stuff they were going to use anyways.
Yeah.
Except different.
Different. And this involves them just kind of placing explosives and stuff all over the city. Which...
It doesn't...
Nobody notices that?
Yeah, how do you not notice?
How do you not notice these guys? You know, like, oh yeah, we're just going to place these explosives underneath the bridge. You know, there's no cameras down there. Nobody's checking this shit out.
I mean, with all the cameras that fucking Napster is breaking into, you think they'd notice some shit.
They have to break into the LA traffic system, which he makes look so simple.
Oh, yeah.
And
he makes a kick-ass algorithm.
Yeah. Kick-ass algorithm, yeah. So the new plan's to go. Steve's going to move his gold, but he's going to use 3 armored trucks. And he's flying a helicopter watching him. And basically Lyle's going to hack into the traffic system, change the lights, and reroute where these trucks are going to go.
Yeah.
But
they don't know which one the gold's in.
They don't know which one's it's in.
Until our genius mastermind, Marky Mark, from Marky Mark and the Monkey Punch.
You're just going to refer to him as that.
Yes, the whole time. It's just going to be Marky.
His character's name is Charlie, not Marky Mark, guys, but yeah.
Yeah, but he has Napster crack into the camera system and find out which truck is riding low, which this technology doesn't exist.
No,
you can't,
especially in 2003.
Yeah, you can't just...
Apparently you can just like zoom in from a traffic cam.
Find out exactly how many inches from the top of the wheel well to the ground any vehicle is, because that just fucking happens.
It just happens. So they figure out it's it's in this one truck, so that's the one we're going for. Well, the truck split up, they didn't know to stick with that one. The whole plan is to get them to this one point where they're going to blow a hole through the road.
Yeah.
And before they get to this point, there's a truck with a billboard on it. Did you catch what was on the billboard?
Not the first time, no.
Not the first time? It was an ad for the awesome soda Pepsi Blue.
Good old Pepsi Blue.
I hope somebody out there remembers that because I sure do. I loved it. If you don't remember Pepsi Blue, it only lasted like 2 years.
Mm.
But if you miss it, it's still available in the Philippines. So plan a trip.
Yeah, with a controversial dye, I guess.
Controversial dye, whatever.
Probably shouldn't be drank.
Propaganda, whatever.
Thanks, Obama.
Yeah, awesome product placement there. I thought it was hilarious, especially looking back on it now. So Steve's watching from the helicopter.
Oh, yeah, and the truck passes the Mini Coopers.
Yep.
At which point they all turn around and just start driving through crowds.
Even before that, how does nobody notice? Oh, these 3 brightly colored Mini Coopers just chilling here, not moved. You know, it's on the Hollywood Boulevard too, on the Walk of Fame, and they're just
really one of the busiest spots.
Just chilling. And all of a sudden, we're gonna turn on the sidewalk and just drive through crowds of people. And head down to the subway system.
Yeah, I love that. If there would have been anybody on those stairs, at any time, if this were not a movie,
It's Los
Hundreds of
Angeles.
people would have died when they drove down those
Of
stairs.
course. But they're Mini Coopers. They can go anywhere.
Yes, but they were taking up a whole stairway. There were people on the other side going up the stairs, but down the stairs, apparently no one ever went.
Nobody goes down. Nobody's going to get on the train.
Because that's where Mini Coopers run people down.
Yep.
That's just how it works in LA.
So they race through there. They nearly get into the subway tracks. They stop the train. Lyle stops the train. Napster. Sorry. The Napster stops it. They get in position, wait for the road to blow up. Truck gets there. Explosives go off. Boom.
Everything works perfect.
Everything works perfect. This ton and a half or whatever pound truck just perfectly falls through the street into the subway.
They crack open the back and... Uh-oh.
Well, Stella was a little nervous at first.
I mean, they crack open the back of the truck.
Well, they cracked the back of the truck. Oh, yeah, and it's not the safe that they were working.
No, it's a different safe.
Stella's like, shit.
I'm not going to be able to do this.
Man.
She needs, obviously, Mikey Mark to put his hand on hers on the dial, and then she'll Jedi mind trick her way through fucking opening the safe somehow.
Like, it's like, that was a super quick, like, reassurance. Like, God, she's freaking out. I can't do this, oh God. And like, don't worry, you got this. All right. And
good.
bada bing, bada boom, they get it open. There's
gold.
the gold. They sling it into these souped up boxes they have in the back of the Mini Coopers and take off.
So Steve, in his helicopter, knows where they are kind of in the general area, so he sends his other bikers down to find them.
Yeah. And
Like, go find these fuckers.
This was a good biker chase. I just wish it was a little longer.
Yeah. One thing I didn't like about it is the Mini Coopers all turned off, like, into a gate. And no one saw them do that.
Yeah.
Bikers didn't see them do that. The bikers are looking for a truck, you know,
Right.
and they know exactly which tunnel to turn down to follow the Coopers.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Wow. Never thought of that.
Kind of bothered me.
Yeah.
Like, really?
So they kind of split up, don't they? They're like, oh, Steve's on Charlie's car. He's like,
Yeah.
I'll take care of Charlie. You guys meet me at the rendezvous point. And Steve kind of Charlie goes into a tunnel.
And Steve follows him.
Fast chopper pilot.
Yes. Amazing skill on this guy, apparently.
Flies under this bridge and in this tunnel and just kind of like back and forth, like cuts Charlie off. Like, I'm going to go this way. No, you're not. I'm going to go this way. And
It goes up a ramp, and this made me sad. The Mini Cooper goes over and crushes a transient. Kind of wept right there a little bit.
Fuck a good muscle car.
Yeah, you need a Mini Cooper.
So Charlie kind of escapes him. Steve's still alive though, and Steve hijacks
Was it
a Ford Bronco.
a Bronco or something?
Because just a stock Ford Bronco is gonna, work in a chase.
Kind
But
of.
they all meet at the rendezvous point, which is this train yard. They load the Mini Coopers onto the train, whatever. They walk out of there, and Steve shows up and kind of tries to negotiate with
The guy watching.
the guy watching them, and he's like, here's $5,000, if you open that for me, I got stuff in there. And the guy's like, oh, okay, $5,000, cool.
Ooh, this guy obviously has been introduced earlier in the movie as someone who is in the crew now.
Yeah, he's in the crew. Wrench. He's the guy who souped up all the Mini Coopers. But they open the door. Steve's like, gotcha. And boom, there's Charlie.
Standing right
So
there.
fast, Charlie. Steve's like, well, I got a gun.
Yeah,
What do
I'll
you guys
fucking
got?
kill
Fuck
you.
guys. And he's like, well, we got insurance. Who is it? The damn Russian guy that
Or mystery guy from earlier.
in the pawn shop who Steve killed this guy's cousin. So they kind of take Steve away.
Everybody wins.
Everybody wins. Bye-bye, Steve. Everybody gets their gold. At this point, Steve sold some of it, so it's $27 million.
Yeah, $27 million.
But before Steve gets away, Stella gets one final shot in on him. Delivers the knockout blow to him. But
Which was satisfying because Edward Norton just plays such a good dick in this movie.
He's so good.
I wanted to hurt him the entire time watching this.
He excels so good at playing a bad guy.
Yeah.
I want to see him play a bad guy more than I would, a good guy.
True.
He's like the poor man's Kevin Spacey.
He did make a good Hulk.
He did. He was the best Hulk.
Yeah. But
Are you sure? You sure he was better than Eric Bana?
are you talking to Ang Lee? Ugh.
Ang Lee's Hulk?
Ugh.
The best one?
No.
That's
Ruffalo isn't doing a bad job, but he's doing actually a pretty good job.
But
Ruffalo,
Edward
Ruffalo.
was the best. But anyways, they get their gold. Rob buys his car. Mos Def's character gets his dream house in Spain with his
First edition books.
and his first edition books.
Napster gets his
stereo that blows women's clothes off.
Yeah.
And of course, Charlie got
Marky Mark fucks Stella.
Well, they don't show it, but it's implied.
It's implied. Heavily.
But yeah, that's the movie. That's The Italian Job. What'd you think?
You want me to go first?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. Well, this is definitely a good flick. It had a lot of good action, a lot of good chases. It's your, standard heist flick, and the soundtrack was good. There were a few cinematography shots that I really enjoyed. And as far as a star rating goes, I'm gonna give it a 7 out of 10.
Okay, fair enough. I agree with you. It's a fun story. You shouldn't expect a whole hell of a lot from this movie, but it's a fun story. It's got a great mix of action, comedy, drama. They really meshed it all together well. Love the cast.
The cast is good.
The cast is great on
amazing.
this. This was right as Jason Statham was becoming a big star. The Transporter had just come out a couple of years earlier.
This is like when he was being pigeonholed as a wheelman.
And that's pretty much he's kind of realized, hey, that's all I'm going to be. Let's make $1 million.
Badass wheelman.
But yeah, I'm going to go right along with you and give this a 7 out of 10. The ending it's kind of predictable. You can see it coming.
Yeah. There aren't too many surprises when it comes to plot.
I wish that motorcycle bike chase would have been a little longer. I think they could have done.
Yeah, they could have done a little more with that.
Yeah. Seeing as the whole thing was based around like Mini Cooper chases from the original
But
one.
the boat chase was.
The boat chase was badass. That was.
There was boats crashing. There was boats jumping. It was fun.
Yeah. But this is some fun trivia about this. There's a scene where Lyle's describing how that he invented Napster, and it shows him napping at his computer, and his college roommate, who was Napster founder Sean Fanning, comes in and steals it. That is the real Sean Fanning who's stealing it.
Really?
Yes. That's not an actor. That is the real guy who created Napster, who steals it from Lyle. Oh. So yeah, I
wonder how you get a person for a role like that. Could you come in and be a lying asshole and steal some shit for us?
Still, that's
in
pretty
real
cool.
life, we're gonna use you as a person.
Right.
That's weird.
And then also the scene that we described earlier, where Stella just flying through the streets of Philadelphia in that Mini. They had to mod that Mini Cooper out.
I'm sure they did.
Charlize Theron is 6'1", 6'2". They said when she originally sat in it, her knees would hit the steering wheel. She couldn't drive that, so they had to take the back seat out or something and put her in it.
So it's not even a real Mini.
It's not. No, it looks like a classic 1960s Mini, but they had to mod it out. And also the Minis that were used in the movie, they used a couple different versions of them, but the ones for when they were in the subway system, they basically had to design new insides for him because the LA County system, LA County doesn't allow combustion engines in their subway system.
Oh.
And at that time, there was no electric version of the Mini Cooper, so they basically had to call in an engineer and wire up some electrical Mini Coopers so they could go down there.
Battery powered.
If you watch the special features on the DVD or Blu-ray, you kind of see what they do, and it's pretty cool.
So they're literally toy cars.
Yeah, they're toy cars. Yeah. So
that just doesn't appeal.
Worth the gold. Yeah. Also, I found it interesting that this was directed by F. Gary Gray. I know you're not too familiar with him, but if the name sounds familiar, he directed the original Friday movie.
Oh.
And like I said, this is one of his only major film directing. He's basically known as a music video director. So
music videos and the Italian Job.
And the Italian Job. And Friday. So I thought that
impressive
resume. But it was kind of interesting. I didn't expect him to direct this, but he did a great job.
Yeah, he did good.
Yeah.
So, I enjoyed it. I mean, I'd suggest watching it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't break the bank on it, but
no,
it's definitely a good movie.
It's a good movie. Good night in at home. Pop some popcorn.
It's your classic heist.
Classic heist movie, yeah. So.
All right.
Well,
we're going to take a break, and we'll be back with the second half in just a moment.
Yep.
If you're liking the show so far, stick around for more intellectual banter such as...
Baby Twist and Fun Time.
like using my sexy voice. That's what I'm doing.
Yeah. Hey, baby. God, that doesn't sound sexy at all.
And welcome back to the part 2 of the MFAB podcast.
Part 2!
Part 2! Today we're going to be talking about and rating 1993's Cannibal the Musical, written and directed by Trey Parker.
Yeah, and
Starring Matt Stone.
Matt Stone and Trey Parker. If you don't know who those two are, they are the creators of South Park, and this was their very first movie.
Their very first movie straight out of college.
Still in college.
Still in college, yeah. It was made in 1993 and didn't actually get a theatrical, or not even a theatrical release, just release until 1996 when they buddied with Troma Films.
Thank you, Troma, for introducing us to the world of South Park.
Yeah, well, yeah,
a launching pad for them.
Yeah, kind of a launching pad.
Which South Park, huge part of my formative years. Thank you for that.
I think we all had a little bit of South Park in us, even if we didn't like it.
If you didn't, you shouldn't be listening to this. But if you are, thanks. So
yeah, hey,
good to have you. So, backstory on this movie. This is kind of based on a true story, right?
Yeah, Alfred Packer.
Alfred, whatever. He went by both. This guy is an interesting story.
Yeah, shoot.
Yeah. It was like 1860s. He was supposedly on a mining trip and kind of got suspected of cannibalism, of like murdering and then eating his crewmates.
Yeah, not as famous as a Donner Party, but yeah, got a little bit of fame.
Besides out of Colorado, not many people know about this, so this movie kind of introduced it to the masses, I guess.
It was actually originally called Alfred Packer the Musical, but
he is a thing of lore around Colorado.
But Lloyd Kaufman discussed it with Matt Stone and Trey Parker, and they all decided, well, depending on what you read,
yeah,
Lloyd decided that, hey, it's going to be Cannibal the Musical instead.
Yeah. But
let's get into it.
Yeah. Before we begin, let me just say I'm not a fan of musicals.
I happen to be a fan of musicals.
Gavin knows this. But
one of the reasons I picked this movie.
Yeah, because he's a dick.
And it's a good movie. Like, you love musicals.
Seeing as I'm a huge fan of South Park, I'm like, yeah, let's give it a shot. The opening scene is kind of like before even the credits roll. It's kind of just Matt Stone.
It's a cold open on everyone kind of
in the wintry woods.
Yeah.
Trey Parker's character, he plays Alfred Packer.
Yep.
Kind of shows him just murdering everybody.
Murdering a bunch of people. Ripping tongues out.
Ripping arms off, beating them with it.
Pretty gruesome. A lot of really awesome practical effects on this.
Yeah, it was pretty awesome. And then you kind of just get right into the credits, whereas, did you notice Trey Parker didn't go by Trey Parker?
No, he went by
Juan
Schwartz.
Juan Schwartz, which was an actual alias that the real Alfred Packer went by when he was in hiding. So kind of an homage to him.
Yeah.
Which is pretty neat. So you only see Matt Stone's name as the recognizable name in the credits, and Dion Bashar, if you know him.
But if you know what they look like, you see the cover, you can kind of tell that's Trey Parker holding a knife up, giving you a wild-eyed, crazy look.
Yeah. Awesome. Right away I noticed about this movie. It's definitely set, obviously, in the 1800s. They did, for a low-budget college student movie, there was a nice attention to detail with costumes and set and all that stuff.
All the extras, not really are...
Their authenticity, historical accuracy on this was really good. Once we get into the story, Alfred's in jail.
And he's getting visited by a
reporter.
Polly Pry.
They want to know, hey, you want to get him to talk, ask him about Leanne. So she asks him about Leanne, and then we kind of do a flashback to the beginning of his story, I guess.
Yeah, it's the beginning of the story.
Yeah.
And we open with a beautiful number called Spadoinkle Day.
Spadoinkle Day, which that term, Spadoinkle, becomes known throughout the movie, which pretty funny. I loved it.
Yeah, they used it well.
Very well. They didn't overuse it, didn't underuse it, timed it perfectly. But yeah, basically, Alfred's in Utah. He hears that there's a lot of gold to be mined up in Breckenridge.
So he wants to, well, not even him. Everyone else in the town wants to get out there. And
I want to get out there, but nobody wants to go.
yeah, no one really knows how to get there.
And the only person that could lead them is Lucky Larry.
Good old Lucky Larry.
Who gets struck by lightning.
Why wouldn't he?
Why wouldn't he? Oh, is he going to be okay? No, he's burnt to
No.
Basically, some dick says, hey, Alfred knows Colorado. He can lead us. And he gets chosen to lead a party of, what, 5?
Those are 4 or 5 of them.
5 of them, I think.
Yeah.
Humphrey, Bell, Swan, and let's just call him Squeaks. I don't remember his name.
Squeaks.
Squeaks. He's Squeaks from Basketball. If you know him.
If you've ever seen Basketball, he's Squeaks.
He's
or
Squeaks.
Little Bitch.
Little bitch. Yeah. So they all set off. They come up on this general store once just outside of
Provo, yeah.
Provo, Utah. So there's just a lot of Western references, Pacific Northwest references to Colorado.
Colorado the whole
Utah area, Wyoming, which they rip on Wyoming later in the movie, which is awesome. They go in the general store, exchange pleasantries with.
Before they actually got to the general store, there was maybe 2 other numbers.
Yeah, there's 2 other numbers. What's one of them?
Everybody kind of gets together and.
Oh, What I'm Asking For.
Yeah, What I'm Asking For was on the way.
For is one of the numbers.
All these songs are they're really catchy. And
They're
they get
really
stuck
catchy.
in your head.
They do. Trust me, they do. I was singing Spadoinkle Day throughout the rest of the next following day. And I still.
Yeah.
It's very catchy.
So they get to the store, picking up supplies. There's a bunch of gags all throughout this movie, and a few voices you may recognize from South Park peppered in there.
Yeah, and looking down into the store, you kind of hear an early version of Cartman's voice.
Yeah, which had to be the first version of Cartman's voice.
Probably.
Yeah.
I don't think they did anything before that. So yeah, that was kind of neat to catch. But here they run into the trappers.
Which is our
Our
enemies of the movie.
Protagonists?
Antagonist.
Antagonist? Okay. Yeah, antagonist.
Protagonist is our hero.
Yeah, okay. Got that right. All right, so the trappers. These guys are hilarious. Simply because they have matching jackets.
Sequin animal fur jackets.
Didn't they have leopard fur on there, too?
Yeah, there was all kinds of prints.
leopard, where are they getting leopard fur in the 1860s?
I have no idea.
In Colorado. But they all just have, trappers written in flashy writing on the back. That was too funny as an awesome sight gag. And they wear them throughout the movie, too. It's not like just that one scene.
That is their costume.
Yeah. But basically, they kind of rip on Alfred's horse first.
Well, they don't rip on the horse.
Well,
they think it's a beautiful horse.
They think it's a beautiful horse.
A trapper horse.
Trapper horse. But the horse is Leanne.
Yeah.
You initially think when the reporter's supposed to ask him about Leanne, oh, some chick he had. Nope, it's his horse.
It's his horse.
Who he loves dearly.
A little too much, if you ask me.
Yeah, a little too much. That's kind of... we'll see that in a later number. But, the trappers kind of, give him some crap.
After they find out they're miners.
After the miners. Diggers. Diggers. We don't like
head.
Trappers take off. They're heading towards...
They're going to
Sawatch.
Yeah, they're going south to Sawatch.
And which is just south of Breckenridge where they're headed. So they leave the town, they set up camp, and they awaken in the morning after they crash for the night in the mountains.
Yep.
And Leanne is gone.
With all of their supplies.
All their food. I mean, they still have, the clothes on their back and stuff.
Yeah.
Well, I got to walk for it. And
which they're already weeks over their deadline.
Alfred said, it'll only be about 3 weeks. And in 3 weeks, they're not even to Colorado yet.
Yeah, next scene, they're 4 weeks later.
4 weeks later, they're still not even in Colorado. But
a lot of small gags in this.
A lot of small gags. One of the best ones is one of the group members, Humphrey. They're walking, and Matt Stone's character is like, "Oh, watch out for that bear trap." And he's like, "What?" And steps right in.
Right in the bear trap.
Right in the bear trap. And then as they try and pry it off, they just clamp it on there more.
Yeah. Humphrey's like, "I can do it. I know how to do this." Clamp.
It was hilarious. And then he seemingly just kind of walks it off.
Well, yeah.
He doesn't have a problem with it. It just, it's there.
Yeah, he's wounded.
He's wounded,
He's limping.
Does he? I didn't notice him limping.
Yeah, kind of. And they make a point of showing
He
it
kicks
later.
him right back though, right after that.
Yeah, he does.
It's, but it's still a fucking awesome part of the movie. I laughed.
There's a yeah.
At this point, they run into a river. And without a horse, it's going to be kind of hard to get across, but they're like,
Well, Leanne usually led the way when they went back and forth from Colorado to their hometown or whatever. Okay. So he's not really used to which way to go.
Which way to go. Leanne
At this point, Alfred is pretty much fucked. He doesn't. He's just guessing on which way to go.
I don't know where we're going, guys. Fuck.
Throughout the movie, you kind of realize that. I mean, he doesn't really show much intelligence.
Yeah.
The main character. He's kind of clueless.
Kind of relied on the horse too much.
Yeah, relied a lot on that horse.
So yeah, they try and cross this river and end up getting swept way down the Green River. Way down. And they're kind of way out of the way now. And this is when they have to crash another campsite. And this is where Alfred kind of professes his love for his horse and how he misses her.
Oh, with the musical number, what was it called?
On Top of You, I think.
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah, it's a very
on top of you.
It's a big innuendo.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be about him riding his horse, just riding him, but it kind of
very suggestive
that he's literally riding her.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a hilarious song. I noticed it's very Bon Jovi-esque.
And there's a payoff later.
There's a payoff later. But yeah, it's very Bon Jovi-esque. I'm like, this is something that, side 2 of Living on a Prayer. I could sing these on there. It was a power ballad. It was.
It was definitely all the music is written by Matt Stone and Trey Parker.
This is like really the beginning of their comical genius.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they wake up out of this campsite, still looking. This is where they run into the Indians.
I love this part.
This is like, throughout this part, you'll be dying laughing if you check this movie out. They're Indians who are clearly Japanese.
They
have teepees.
Which are clearly made out of the Japanese flag.
Yeah, and they're face painted, and yeah, they don't necessarily get captured, right?
They just kind of wander into camp.
Stay here, we're Indians. So
stay here until the storm gets over, and then you can.
Yeah, and here's where they run into the trappers.
Yeah,
the trappers met up with the Indians too.
Round 2 trappers.
And this is where the trappers get a chance to sing.
Yeah, and express who they are.
They're by the Trappers song.
Which is another hilarious
one. Yes. It reminded me of Gaston from Beauty and the Beast.
Nice.
You remember the number Gaston?
It's been a while.
Where he's just talking about himself.
Yeah.
It's reminded me so much of that because they basically use the same voice.
Yeah.
The deep voice. And his two
very egotistical.
Yeah.
The song is all about how great they are.
Yeah. Well, I wake up muddy and I go to bed bloody.
Yeah.
He said his dad was an elephant.
Yeah.
His mom's an
That's irrelevant because his mother was an Eskimo.
Oh, man. So.
And he has balls of steel that can break through walls, apparently.
Yeah. Which.
This guy is the shortest of their 3-man group, too.
Yeah. But he's the leader because, the tall guys are dumb.
Yeah.
Usually.
True.
That's how it goes. Why are the tall guys never leaders of groups?
I don't know.
It's always the little guys.
I mean, sometimes the tall guys.
Look at Floyd Mayweather. We were just talking about this today.
Oh, yeah.
He's the littlest guy, but he's the leader. Like, don't you think his bodyguards?
Yeah, he's got his, 400-pound bodyguard.
Anyways, we flash back to present time, and they're back at the courthouse. Alfred's getting convicted. Because at this point, we already know that some massacre had happened, that he's being accused of cannibalism. So
he ended up... Oh, yeah, wait. No, go on.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, the beginning, they kind of know that he's in jail for. He's suspected of cannibalism.
Yeah, well, the whole opening sequence, they're describing him killing people that he took off with.
Right. And at this point, he's getting convicted. He's going to be held in jail overnight or whatever, and he's going to be hung the next morning. So, and this is where Polly has a song. A really nice... I thought this song was actually kind of,
trying to remember. It's been a while since I watched this.
She was like a heartfelt song about how she's kind of falling for Alfred's character.
I can't remember the words to it, but
not offhand, but it fit with the movie, but it didn't because it wasn't that funny. It was a good song.
There were a few funny parts in that song. Maybe I'm not the cold bitch that I thought I was.
Yeah. But overall, it was really, and she's a really good singer.
Yeah, and she's falling for someone suspected of being a cannibal.
Yeah. So,
which is kind of amusing.
Mm-hmm. So, anyways, we get flashback to there with the Indians. They decide to just run off.
Yeah, well, Alfred, he's learning karate so he can fight the trappers, because he thinks he took a horse, obviously.
Obviously.
Because they had the saddlebags, so there's a good chance trappers did take the horse. So he's learning karate when he finds out from the Indians that the trappers had left early that morning. So he decides he's going to take his group and leave too so they can catch up and, get his horse back. Because he's really only concerned with his horse.
Yeah, he at this point, he doesn't care about the gold.
Yeah.
He hasn't said it, but he wants to find his horse.
Well, he's never really cared about the gold.
Yeah.
I mean, he was kind of roped into this from the beginning.
True at this point. He says, fuck it, we're going for my horse. And this is when they run into the Cyclops.
Oh, the Cyclops. The Yeti.
The Yeti. He has...
Or Cyclops.
He had two eyes. I don't think this is like just one person with one eye. No, he had two eyes.
No, he's clearly from the South and he has one eye.
And his eye is so gross.
Oh, it's awesome.
It's like a squirting butthole.
Squirting... Or pus squirting.
First pus squirting, yeah. It's just, he just gets angry and it just...
Are you looking at my eye? And then just all over. Fucking beautiful.
It was gross and funny. It was just awesome. Another practical gag.
Yeah, lots of practical gags.
So they gotta want to run away from him. At this point, they're stuck in the mountains. It's snowing.
Yeah.
You're getting cold.
Things are getting bad.
Really bad. But
one of them,
name? Swan.
Yeah.
Swan always has this upbeat attitude, like everything's gonna be okay. And at this point, he releases the song "Let's Build a Snowman."
We can make it our best friend.
We can make it our best friend. And I listened to this song the whole time. Fuck Frozen. Just fuck that song, Frozen. I know that song's Let the Nation, but this is the song that shouldn't let the nation. No, not Let It. No, not the Do You Want to Build a Snowman.
Oh, that one. Okay.
Yeah, this is the real.
This is
Build a Snowman song. Fuck Frozen.
Yeah. Frozen, but yeah.
You haven't watched Frozen?
I have not watched Frozen.
How have you avoided that?
I don't know. I have a niece and nephew too, and I don't understand how.
Oh my god.
Luckily, my nephew's really into games, so we can.
There you go.
Skip past all the bull crap.
Well, you should definitely check Frozen out.
It's that good?
It's one of Disney's better movies.
I keep hearing it's good, and I mean, I finally watched. What was it? WALL-E.
Yeah.
Just recently.
WALL-E is a great movie.
And that's years old. So that was actually really good. I was impressed with that one.
Yeah. But anyways.
But yeah, Swan. Let's Build a Snowman.
Swan. Yeah, the Let's Build a Snowman song. It's very catchy, and he tap dances in the snow.
Yeah, he does. He tap dances in the snow.
If you're watching, remember that part, because soon and a little bit later we'll come back to that. Yeah. But he kind of just tries to raise their spirits, and they're just like, "Shut up."
Yeah.
And they just kind of keep going.
And they move along, keep trudging, trying to find their way over the mountain.
They're camping again, and this is where Trey's character takes his hat off. And afro pops out.
Matt Stone.
Yeah, Matt Stone's character. Yeah. So he takes his camping hat off or whatever, and this big red afro pops out.
Yeah, just like Kyle from South Park.
Yeah, that's the early precursor to Kyle from South Park. I love that.
His character is kind of neurotic too, kind of a dopey. Thinks he can do a lot, but really can't.
Really stupid sounding voice.
Yeah.
But they keep going. It's getting even more bleak. And this is when Swan starts to sing "Let's Build a Snowman" song.
Gets into it, starts singing it.
And this is when Bell?
Is it Bell? Yeah, Bell.
Yeah, Bell. The guy who's been preaching the Book of Mormon and God the entire trip.
God. Try to build a church.
Pulls out his gun and just blasts him in the head.
Just pops his brains all over the snow.
And he just dies with a smile on his face.
Yeah.
And at this point, they're hungry. They're hungry. They're tired. They need food. There's a dead body.
There's a dead body. One of them's a butcher.
Yeah, one of them's a butcher, but he doesn't really know how to butch yet, does he?
Oh, he knows how to butch.
He knows how, but...
But, what Matt Stone's character, Humphrey, doesn't want any butt.
He doesn't want any butt. He's like, what are you doing? What kind of piece do you want? Well, not the butt. So you see him later mowing on a foot.
Yeah. Sure. That's gross eating the butt. Chewing on a fucking foot. It's disgusting.
Alfred at one point takes a bite and just pukes.
Instantly
right?
pukes it up, yeah.
He's like, oh, and then Humphrey's like, oh, gross, you got it on me. Not aware that you're eating a dead body.
Yeah. I love it how there's one point during that scene where it started to rev up like they were going to play the Let's Build a Snowman song, and they kind of pan over to...
Oh, Humphrey's dead body?
No, not Humphrey. What's his name?
Swan.
Yeah,
Swan.
His
Sorry.
dead body. And you see his big smiling face there.
Yeah.
The music just dies.
Music dies.
It was beautiful.
Um,
Just really well timed.
Yeah. And they're still camping. They're still tired. It's cold. And they're like, how close are we to Breckenridge? And Alfred says, well, I'm going to go check that ridge. So he goes to check the ridge.
Nobody eat anybody.
Nobody eat anybody. Yeah. He goes to check the ridge. He's kind of gone for a while.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he comes back. Everybody's dead except for Bell.
Yes. Just
God preaching, Book of Mormon reading Bell just murdered everybody.
bodies everywhere, strewn over campfires.
He's like, well, we have enough meat here to last us all winter now. Like, what the hell is going on?
It took a turn for the dark real quick.
Very dark, and at this point, doesn't Bell kind of goes to attack Alfred, right?
Yeah, because he thinks he's going to turn him in. Because Alfred kind of says he's going to turn him in.
Yeah, I'm going to turn you in, so I'm not going to let you.
Can't lie about that. So they
Right.
end up getting in a little brawl, a little tuffle.
It starts little, but then gets awesome.
Yeah, very awesome.
Alfred cleaves Bell in the face.
Oh, it's just an
Oh,
awesome shot.
awesome shot. Oh, he's dead. Wait. No, he's not. He gets
Jumps
back up, and then he shoots him in the face.
Yep.
Okay, he's dead now.
He's totally dead.
Nope.
Nope.
He comes back at him.
Jumps off. Gets a stick in the eye.
Stick in the eye. Okay, that's gotta be it. 3 times, that's enough.
Has his death throes for the third time.
That's that's the point where you're like, okay, it was funny, it's cool.
We're good.
No, he's not dead.
No.
Pickaxe to the chest, pinned to a tree. That kind of nails it.
Pretty much ends
Pretty
him.
much,
Yeah.
So, Alfred's kind of on his own now, and he makes his way to Sawatch, which the place that he wanted to go the whole time.
Yeah, trying to find his horse, gets a haircut.
Yeah, and he finds Leanne.
Yeah, Leanne's there.
She's with the trappers now,
Yeah.
and she kind of shuns him. Like, they're like, oh, it's our horse now. She wants us.
It's a sad story.
He kind of says, forget you, man, whatever. He tries getting his troubles away at the saloon.
Yeah.
A
Ooh.
little brawl there.
Well, that's when the sheriff comes in, right?
Sheriff comes in,
Drunk as shit.
drunk as shit.
Saying they went up to the ridge where he said he lost his friends. Because, he never told anybody that, he ate people and killed people. He just kind of, let it go.
Oh, yeah, they
But in retrospect, he didn't really
he
eat.
didn't really, but he knew the evidence was alarming. So, but yeah, there
So
ends
the whole
up,
town wants him dead.
yeah, and they kind of start a fight at the bar, right?
Yeah.
But before that, doesn't he beats up the trappers
Well, he
leader,
gets into a hand-to-hand with Frenchie.
the leader of the trappers, and just goes fucking speed bag on his balls.
Yeah, he remembers his karate training, which apparently is punch testicles until they explode.
It's just bop, 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 bop. And I guess I didn't catch it at the time, but when we see Frenchie later, his voice completely changed.
Yeah, his voice
That's
is...
why, because he got his balls
peaked.
beat to smithereens.
You can't get any higher right there.
Yeah. So they catch Alfred, and then we kind of flash back to the present day.
Yeah. And then we're...
Hang him high.
Oh, yeah. We
Hang
got
the bastard.
we get the song Hang the Bastard.
Big musical number.
which is a whole town worth of people.
With cowbell solo.
Oh yeah, huge cowbell solo.
Huge cowbell solo. If you haven't heard a cowbell solo, this will change your life.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
It's amazing.
Who knew you could do so much with one stick and a cowbell?
And one piece of metal.
One piece of metal. Awesome.
So yeah, they're going to hang Alfred.
Going to hang
It's
Alfred.
hanging day.
Yep. And at this point, Polly had left town to go back to Denver, and they're just about to pull the lever. She comes riding in on the horse.
Yeah.
He's been not necessarily pardoned, but
all the crimes happened on Indian ground.
Indian ground, not Colorado territory. So on a technicality,
Yeah, he's
he gets
free.
off. He's free.
Which Frenchie doesn't like.
Frenchie doesn't like him. He jumps up, pulls the lever to hang him, and as he's kind of dangling there for a second, who shows up but the Indian chief and cuts the rope with his Indian samurai sword. And how did he not fall through the hole?
Well, he does.
He does?
Yeah, he falls through, and then
Is there like a little thing underneath there? Because he kind of just stayed on the platform. He didn't fall all the way to the ground.
maybe I didn't notice that.
Unless I missed something. But yeah, anyways, he saved him. He's there, and
Yeah.
the chief fucking chops off Frenchie's head.
Well, yeah, that's because they still want the crowd. You can't leave a crowd hanging like that. You got to kill someone.
They're like, let me nobody hanging here today, and there's aw. Well, let's slice Frenchie's head off.
Yeah. Once you get rid of the bad guy, everyone wins.
Yeah. Awesome.
So then,
Frenchie leaves, or Frenchie dies.
yeah, the
And
chief
then-
asked if he wants his horse back, and he's like, no.
Nah.
Which there's a funny story behind the horse.
Yeah, we'll get to that in a minute. But Polly and Alfred share a kiss.
They start re-singing two of their songs combined into one.
And, who shows up right before the
Well,
credits?
this is where that one joke pays off, though, because she's singing to him about how she wants to be on top of him, and that's where the payoff
That's
for
true.
that entire
That's
song
true.
comes from, right there. And
That's
right
true.
before the song ends,
Here's Bucking Bell. Just shows up and scares the living crap out of
fucking
him.
cleaver and eye stick in the other eye, fucking
Pickaxe
pickaxe
in
sticking out of
chest.
them, screaming.
They scream, jump off the platform, and there's your credits.
And we scroll up, go to credits.
That's Cannibal the Musical.
Cannibal the Musical.
Um,
Beautiful. I'm just gonna say it's beautiful.
yeah,
It's,
for a musical, I'm glad you made me watch this one. I have new hope for musicals now. If any musical, Singing in the Rain, what are the others? Chicago, any other musical, if it can live up to this, it'll be okay.
I don't think that's gonna happen, but
No, probably not. But this was great. I loved South Park style humor, and this movie was filled with that. The musical numbers, they were short and sweet. They were nothing too long, and there was a good blend of just actual dialogue and musical numbers, and each one had its own kind of humor to it. So, I'm gonna give it probably about a 7.5.
7.5.
7.5.
Okay.
Upwards of 8 on a good day. An 8, yeah.
On a 7.5, 8ish.
7.5, 8, yeah.
Sounds good.
Yeah, I give it that because it doesn't just quite live up to Matt Stone and Trey Parker's other movies, like Orgasmo, like Basketball. This is a nice start, and I think they really get their comedic, timing and stuff better as they go. So their movies definitely get better, but this is a great start for them.
All right. Me, on the other hand, I absolutely love every aspect of this movie. I mean, this is their first movie. This is their first attempt. You can tell they put their lifeblood into this. The footage, is a little bad. I mean, the sound could be a little bit better, but the music is, all the songs are catchy as hell. It's something I find myself wanting to sing every other day. I'll come thinking about it. But it's a good story. There's a lot of good jokes. All in all, I think I gotta go with 9 out of 10 for this.
A 9, okay.
Yeah, this is one I would recommend to anyone, anywhere. Even if you don't like musicals, the humor is good.
Yeah.
I mean, there's not a single person that I've shown this movie to that hasn't at least liked it a little bit.
Yeah, it's not just one style of humor. There's dry humor, there's sight gags. It's a mix of all types of different humor, and it's really good. But yeah, this actually on an IMDb rating got a better rating than the Italian Job.
Yeah.
This got a 7.2. The Italian Job got a 7. So
Yeah.
yeah, I can't argue with either ratings. So yeah, just some fun trivia about this movie as well. There's a scene when Alfred gets convicted in the courtroom. First of all, this is the actual courtroom where Alfred was the real Alfred was convicted. So authenticity again.
Yeah.
Also, the judge on trial was Trey's dad.
Yeah.
So it's kind of neat.
I'm guessing a lot of the people in this production.
Yeah, a lot of the people
close.
Well, they were filming this while they were still students at Colorado Boulder.
Yeah.
So a lot of the extras and other people in the movie were students as well as some professors.
But a lot of the filming was done still in what was it, Lake City?
Lake City.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did try to do a lot around Colorado, which they got some awesome natural views too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The mountains.
The canyons.
Just
really
beautiful.
Nice.
I mean, it's a low quality footage, but I mean, you can see the beauty in it still.
Yeah. And funny thing about the horse,
Leanne.
Trey decided to name the horse Leanne after his ex-fiance because, as they quoted in the movie, she's the horse that would let anyone ride her. So there's a little jab at his ex-fiance. God, that relationship must have ended. Who knows what she did?
Yeah, it had to have been bad.
Pretty bad, but yeah, it's still just an epic way of just to get a little jab in there. So,
which, if you're gonna make a movie, why not?
Yeah, why not?
Show up all the people that you dislike from your past.
But yeah, so that's Cannibal.
That was Cannibal.
And that's episode 2.
That is episode 2. You want to give some contact info?
Yeah, why not? How could I forget about that? Yeah. We are on Facebook. Just look us up, MFAB Podcast. We are on the Twitter, so if you want to send us some tweets, whatever, we are at MFAB Podcast. And you can also get a hold of us through email with mfabpodcast@gmail.com. Kind of a trend there with all our social media accounts.
Yeah, a lot of social media stuff.
Yeah. Kind of use the same name.
Yeah, but it's
Makes
good.
sense, right? Yeah. Okay.
If we are on iTunes by this point, if you could give us a 5-star review, that'd be really helpful.
Duh.
I'm not quite sure where we're at.
Anything less than a 5-star review? Come on. But yeah,
we're good.
Very informative. So, but yeah, thanks again for checking us out. We'll definitely be back with a 3rd episode, and we hope to see you there. Signing off for now. I'm Aaron.
And I'm Gavin.
And y'all take care.
Bye.
Next week on the MFAB Podcast, we watch Ben Affleck forget everything in Paycheck.
And we rip on artsy dildos and Murder Party.
Until next time.
That's a wrap.
Cut.